We start today with Naruto flying down the stairs, excited for his first mission. He actually woke up early and reviewed all his ninja tools, something he's known to forget. As he reaches the bottom of the stairs, he catches a second person with gray hair in his living room and before heading to the kitchen, ducks his head in to see Kakashi sitting with Minato. They abruptly stop talking and look up at Naruto. Naruto asks why Kakashi's here because their first missions have been assigned. He should be getting prepared for his team. Kakashi awkwardly explains that Team 7 isn't going on a mission today, confusing Naruto as he was sure everyone would get a mission at the same time. Minato tells him that he is lucky. Most teams don't get sent out on missions after failing their first training test. The dots connect in Naruto's head and he smiles, happy that his wasn't the only team that did poorly. He disappears again to get something to eat, and Minato and Kakashi resume their conversation. It's not unusual for Kakashi to visit their house, considering Minato was his own sensei, and is the only other survivor of their team. Thus Naruto is quite familiar with Kakashi already. Naruto inhales some food, and shouts his goodbyes as he opens the front door and almost runs into Sasuke. His smile widens into a childish giggle as he leans in and elbows Sasuke, mentioning that he failed the training grounds too. Sasuke exchanges between angry, humored, and annoyed, as he finds solace in Naruto's team also failing, but also annoyed that Naruto somehow feels comfortable with elbowing him. Naruto calls into the house that Sasuke is here and then sidesteps past his fellow genin before announcing he has a mission to get to and sprints up the street. The relationship between these two is more like acquaintances. They acknowledge each other and don't really like or dislike each other, and they don't go out of their way to talk to each other. However, Sasuke makes irregular stops to the home to talk to Minato whenever the Hokage has the time to talk, and in that capacity, has several incidental run-ins with Naruto. Before Sasuke enters the Hokage's residence, he takes a few careful looks around the area and nearby buildings, and then slips inside. As he enters the living room, he's visibly surprised to see Kakashi there. Sasuke offers to come back later, and Minato tells him that anything he needs to say can be said in front of Kakashi, who is one of the most loyal shinobi in the village. Hesitating for a moment, Sasuke nods and sits between them. Kakashi motions for Sasuke to talk, and he takes a deep breath, instinctively glancing through a window to the opposite buildings again before continuing. The buildings are empty, no one's watching, because there's a different focus today. This morning the village is abuzz, with the fresh genin getting ready for their first mission, and one restaurant in particular is getting more business than usual. Sakura is eating breakfast with Asuma and Kurenai as the unwitting third wheel to their meal together. She's as prepared as can be already, and when Kurenai offered a courtesy invite to breakfast when they crossed paths that morning, Sakura didn't quite get the hint and took her teacher up on the offer. Before the Jonin can even enjoy a second in peace, the rest of their genin start to show up until their breakfast becomes a big communal affair. Naruto takes advantage of a second breakfast and stuffs himself. Asuma takes the opportunity to announce to the 6 genin that their first mission will be a joint one. Teams 8 and 9 are taking a mission together. It's not a 2-team mission because of its difficulty, rather because they are traveling to neutral grounds for it, and any mission outside the country's borders require at least 2 Jonin to a squad, simply for the sake of safety. Naruto and Choji light up at the prospect of leaving the country and ask where they're going to be heading. Asuma looks around at the other patrons in the restaurant before telling the teams that their mission briefing will come after breakfast. He quickly regrets his decision as Naruto starts bragging that they're going out on an A-rank mission right away, before he's even heard the rank. Sakura gets annoyed at his energy before anything has happened and yells at him to shut up, looking to Choji and Shino for some sort of help, but neither seem interested in arguments so early in the day. Asuma sighs and decides breakfast is over as the genin become restless, leading them to the city's edge before explaining. Kurenai is letting him take the lead. Just as in canon, she's a new Jonin and has never led new genin before, so this is a great opportunity for her to figure out how Asuma gets their attention and gives direction. He tells them that if the mission were to take place inside the country, it would be a C-rank mission for just one team. Only because they have to cross the invisible boundary into a different country, the rank escalates and more people are required, not because it's as difficult as a B-rank mission. There's no rush on this mission, he explains, so they're going to take their time traveling to the destination to help train the genin to new heights. "But what are we doing?" Naruto asks loudly, earning a fierce look from Sakura again, and even Tenten and Shino are getting perturbed by his loudness. Asuma stares silently at Naruto for a few seconds until Naruto makes eye contact with him and realizes he's a disturbance. Continuing, Asuma clarifies that they're going to a small island chain just beyond the Land of Waves. There are rumors of a great bridge being built to connect to the mainland, but neither the Land of Fire nor the Land of Lightning has any idea about it or from which island it's being built. If there are any implications for the high tensions between Mist and Lightning, then it should be explored and reported on by a neutral party to prevent the conflict from getting any more serious. The Mist doesn't exactly trust the Land of Fire, but it's not at war with them either. Meanwhile, Lightning and Fire are holding a strong peace, so there shouldn't be any issues on that side of things. Their mission is one of reconnaissance. They are to go in and find out as much information as possible without conflict. Due to the treaties signed already by the Leaf, if conflict breaks out between Mist and Cloud, they are not allowed to intervene. However, should either side strike at the Leaf for any reason, they are free to get involved. Nonetheless, Asuma stresses that no one is to do anything to even suggest violence. If everything goes right, they shouldn't even cross paths with anyone from either country anyway. With nothing else to elaborate on, Asuma looks to Kurenai's approval before setting out with their 6 genin. The traveling ninja naturally collect into smaller groups for the first few hours of travel, with Kurenai and Sakura at the front of the line. Kurenai specifically separates Sakura from the rest to ask her exactly how she repeatedly uncovered the genjutsu during training. Sakura would list various things like inconsistencies in shadows, how some objects didn't appear to sway with the wind, and since it was a stationary illusion, its edges became very clear very quickly. When Kurenai asks for elaboration on that last part, Sakura clarifies that she read that more complicated genjutsu take control of one of your senses, such that the whole world becomes an illusion. However, what Kurenai was using was basic and didn't enrapture Sakura's senses. Instead, it was an external, stationary illusion that didn't affect anyone directly. Kurenai asks Sakura if she'd like to learn more about advanced genjutsu herself, since she was clearly a natural. Sakura hesitates for a moment, asking how a hiden technique can be created, or a keke genkai. She's read the books, but there has to be an origin to these techniques, she figures. Kurenai agrees. Hiden techniques are invented over time and are slowly reshaped by descendants of their creator until they're honed into this inscrutable technique, such as the Aburame or Akimichi clans. Kurenai explains that the bugs that Shino uses are now probably far more diverse and controllable than when the inventor of the jutsu tried commanding for the first time. It may have started as one bug type and slowly expanded to include so many more. Though keke genkai are far more complex, Kurenai stands by her theory with the hiden techniques. She believes it's just experimentation that turns into a generationally taught technique, and it becomes so ingrained in everyone of the family that they're just one day born with the knowledge already. Keke genkai can't be taught because even the family it belongs to have lost the knowledge of how to teach it. Why hang on to the instructions when everyone already knows how to do it? Sakura looks down at her feet, disappointed in the answer. Kurenai points out that ninja can become legendary without stuff like that, mentioning the third Hokage and all 3 of his disciples, the Sannin. She tells Sakura that the White Fang of the Leaf was unparalleled and didn't have anything like that to rely on. Instead, they use what's available to them and become masters of their craft. She even cites Might Guy, a younger jonin compared to the examples, who was unmatched in taijutsu due to his commitment to it. Sakura lightens up, realizing just how many accomplished ninja there are who never had to rely on family techniques. She turns back to Kurenai and asks for more advanced genjutsu training. Behind them in the line are Shino and Choji. These two are mostly walking silent, broken only by Choji's random snacking. Shino asks why he needs to constantly snack, especially considering they just finished a big breakfast. Choji tells him it's not really his business, remarking that it's really strange to wear such a heavy coat on such a sunny day, but he wasn't about to criticize. Shino says that his bugs operate better when they're warmer. When he summons them to action, they can respond faster from their warm hives. At slight discomfort to himself, Shino can respond faster to ambushes or to help a friend in need. He also points out that he didn't mean to criticize, and next time he'll split money for Choji to get an even bigger breakfast. Choji laughs at the serious offer but declines it. He tells Shino that while he hosts thousands of bugs inside his body, Choji holds something else inside his that will help him fight when he needs to. Fat? Shino asks, sparking a sudden rage from Choji, who only quiets down after Kurenai turns around and tells him to stop being so loud. Shino apologizes again and says he didn't mean to offend. Silence falls between them again. Behind them, Naruto and Hinata are together. Hinata has no courage to speak, and Naruto is more annoyed that no one else wanted to walk with him. He's kind of annoyed that Tenten gets to walk with Asuma to get who knows what kind of training, same as Sakura in the front with Kurenai. Meanwhile, he's stuck with this girl who never talks. He asks Hinata if she's excited for the mission, and after a long pause, she finally says that she's not sure. He's about to just go on a rant, but she continues a little more, saying that with the high tension between all the countries, it's always a dangerous gamble to leave town, let alone travel to countryside for days or weeks. Naruto laughs that she's so cautious, but assures her that when trouble arrives, he'll be at the front of the line for the action. With another awkward silence, Naruto launches into nonsense rants that are mostly themed after bragging or talking about himself. In the back of the line, we have Asuma with Tenten. He's pulled out his chakra blades, much to her awe. He tells her that while this metal isn't rare, it certainly is in the land of fire. Asuma explains that while they travel, he wants her to work on her chakra nature, and if she can get a firm grip of it before the mission's over, he'll put in an order for a chakra blade of her own. Through the academy, Tenten's already learned that her innate chakra nature is lightning, and though she hasn't done much training with it, she's eager to discover how she can. Asuma elaborates that while chakra blades hold chakra, normal weapons can channel chakra. What this means is that Tenten doesn't need any special tool or even any advanced level of chakra control. She needs only be able to conjure the chakra nature and feed it through her hands and into her weapon of choice. He further explains that it will be a challenge for a genin her age to conjure the lightning, so she shouldn't feel frustrated if it takes longer than the mission time to get the hang of it. The group is traveling to the land of hot water between the land of fire and lightning. From there, they will set out by boat to the reported location of the mysterious bridge. After they confirm their findings, they are to report the information to Konoha and exclude the information from any Cloud Ninja should they come across any. The remaining genin are instructed to rotate in taijutsu training with each other on the journey there. Though Tenten and Sakura got special attention on their first day of travel, every day thereafter, Kurenai and Asuma would rotate to another genin to give them something to focus on. Asuma tells Hinata that she lacks the stamina and reaction time for more high-octane situations, and encourages that the better she gets with taijutsu, the more she'll give her muscles the memory to instantly react to aggression. To Naruto, he tells him that he can't very well solely rely on the flying Raijin to get through life, and needs to develop some secondary and maybe even some tertiary jutsu that he can rely on as well for more offensive means. He's too rushed with his taijutsu as well, and needs to slow down to be more deliberate. If no one's noticed yet, my Naruto doesn't have any idea how to make shadow clones. Kurenai tells Shino that taijutsu training with other genin is the best way to strengthen his body, and it's exactly what he's looking for. The more confident he gets in the basics of taijutsu, the more she'll look to expand other aspects that are unique to him. To Choji, who's already brimming with chakra and is quite strong in taijutsu for a genin, she tells him that after seeing him produce a fireball in training, he needs to look at diversifying that as well. On the days that Choji is her focus, she begins training him on some intermediate fire-style jutsu so that he may be more dynamic on the field. Ninjutsu proficiency also increases chakra control, and she knows how much the expansion jutsu can drain someone if they're not careful. The timeline for how long it takes to travel between two locations in this universe is ultra ambiguous at best. So I'm going to say it takes them a week to get to the shores of the land of water. Upon arrival, the bamboo village provides them with 2 boats with which they can go to sea and find this mysterious bridge in construction. Before they head out, Kurenai thinks it's important to teach the kids how to use chakra to walk on water. Though she skips the natural first step, it's most important to her that the genin have a rough understanding of the concept. Asuma's kicking himself. Forgetting to teach the kids such a valuable skill when the mission is over water is a great blunder. But that's only in concept, as even Asuma is confident that nothing will happen. They camp out for the night, and then take off the next morning, weary that they could be on the water for a few days. The Leaf's been spending most of its efforts on maintaining a stronger border against the stone, and there hasn't been any news of fighting between the cloud and mist in that time. Kurenai explains to the genin that they're traveling into the no man's land between the mist and the cloud, and that this could be the most dangerous part of their mission. They are to reserve their chit-chat for later, and focus on observing the water from all sides. Shino's bugs are anchored to him out on the water, so his scouting range is smaller. They can't very well land on the water themselves, after all, though I'm sure some could. As such, Hinata is placed at the frontmost boat for utilizing her Byakugan, and Naruto is placed in the rear boat for the sensory abilities he inherited from his father. Meanwhile, Shino keeps up a close-range sensory network, and Tenten, Choji, and Sakura are set to defend should anything happen. Ninja of the Leaf are land lovers, and Asuma underestimates how no wind can completely stymie their progress. Nevertheless, he uses some wind jutsu to create gusts of wind throughout their journey to keep them on track. As Asuma expects, the trip on the water is rather uneventful, and when they eventually come to the point described in their mission detail, they do indeed find the bridge. The construction on this bridge has clearly been going on for some time, because from where they are, they can't see the island it's built from. It just stretches for miles and miles on end. At its top, they can see several dozen tiny figures working diligently. However, assuming it's in a straight line, that would set its base point in the land of water, and based on the direction it's facing, it will eventually finish somewhere in the land of hot water. Kurenai is stunned at the size of this bridge, and the confidence behind whoever decided to build it. If finished, it would simultaneously be the greatest construction ever, as well as a dangerous connection for the land of water to the mainland. Asuma instructs the genin to write down every detail they see so they can consolidate their information later in the debriefing. It's slightly foggy where they are, so you can imagine how spooky it would be to see a giant stone bridge on the sea whose start is obscured by mist. Asuma and Kurenai briefly talk to each other, wondering how long the bridge had to have been in construction to be so large already, as well as how no one discovered it until now. Once they're finished with the details, they change their boat's directions to make landfall and see if they can't find where the bridge will end up finishing. If there's construction on the mainland, then the urgency to solve the problem will grow. Finally, they get back to land and instruct Hinata to look as far as she can along the shore for any signs of construction. She does what she can but apologizes for being unable to see that far. So they travel along the beach until eventually they come across evidence of what could be preparations for the bridge. Massive stacks of stone bricks lay about along with mortar and rope. Asuma grunts uneasily, wondering how long the bridge construction has been going on for. He gives Kurenai a worried glance, and she knows the implication of a land connection with the land of water so close to the land of lightning. While the genin are writing down further details, Hinata alerts Asuma to someone approaching from the water, walking across its surface. He asks for a village description from their headband, but Hinata can't make it out yet. Asuma orders the genin off the shore and into the nearby tree line for cover just in case it's an aggressor. As some genin begin to head up from the beach, Shino suddenly collapses. Kurenai erects a much more complex genjutsu around Shino as she carries him to a safer area to check him over. She pauses, noting 3 puncture points in his back. "Kurenai, on me! Sakura, look after Shino," Asuma orders, brandishing his signature blades and raises fists towards the visitor from the water who is taking him very casually. It's a woman who has one sword on either hip, and she stands smiling at the genin scrambling around the fallen Shino to help Sakura carry him to proper cover. She remarks that it's too bad for them both that the majority of the Leaf Party are genin because she hasn't had a good fight for a while. Asuma asks her why a fight even needs to happen, they're just passing through. Her head drops to one side as she gives him a knowing look. She knows exactly what they've been up to. Kurenai asks if he'll need help for this one, and Asuma replies, "Well, I don't know. Intel says she's been dead for 10 years. Meanwhile, the genin have Shino in cover of the woods, and Sakura has found the 3 punctures in his back. She hasn't trained extensively on medical ninjutsu, but she knows that the precision strikes like these cannot just easily be removed. Naruto asks who uses needles as a weapon. Asuma explains to Kurenai that the woman standing before them is a member of the 7 swordsmen of the Bloody Mist, Ringo. Blasting through the woods on Asuma's left is yet another intruder that he was not anticipating. Not sparing a single word to the Leaf Ninja, one launches forward and clashes blades with Ringo, both their weapons sizzling with electricity. Ringo laughs that someone so young cannot compete with her electricity, and her forked blades begin to cut the young ninja's sword into pieces. "Relax, we're here to help," a blonde Cloud Kunoichi claims from behind Asuma and Kurenai. "Kurenai, take the genin and get back to the village. Leave Tenten and Naruto, but bring Hinata with you for a censor. Lord Fourth will need to hear about this one's survival at the very least, never mind the bridge," Asuma says. As he takes a step forward to assist the young Cloud Ninja, who's on the verge of being overpowered, a glint of light flashes through Asuma's peripheral vision, and he turns to block the blow of a massive sword. "Zabuza Momochi. Where there's one, I guess we should expect more," Asuma teases, their B rank mission suddenly launching to an S rank. Kurenai observes that they're missing Nin. They shouldn't be working in alignment with their home village as she turns to leave. Zabuza insists that it's just a coincidence. They were hired to protect the bridge's construction at any cost. It's irrelevant which village it's coming from for them. As Zabuza begins to overpower Asuma, he suddenly bounces out of the way of the strike from the blonde-haired woman. "Samui, I'm the leader of my squad." "Asuma Sarutobi," he replies, launching a counteroffensive against Zabuza as the Cloud Ninja team up against Ringo. "Kill them all," Zabuza orders to seemingly no one as the Leaf Ninja begin to flee. Tenten and Naruto emerge from the woods and keep their distance from the primary fighting, unsure of how to involve themselves. Though Asuma seems to be holding his own against Zabuza for the time being, Samui and her genin are struggling against Ringo, who seems to be bringing both speed and power to their melee. Despite wielding such a large blade, Zabuza flips it around as if it were a short sword, shocking Asuma and forcing him to convert from offense to defense. He shouts for help from his genin and Tenten flies to action, pulling out a ninja scroll as she attempts to flank Zabuza and conjures dozens of shuriken. Spinning wire, she throws several directly at him and several more past him, returning their trajectory with the wire. He bats them away easily but creates a small opening for Asuma to get inside his guard. Just as Asuma's about to strike him, lightning arcs from Ringo that radiates through the Cloud Ninja, who now stand as three, and strikes him in the back. Stumbling only a second is all Zabuza needs to land a fierce strike, felling Asuma. Turning to Tenten and Naruto, who's frozen in his shoes, Zabuza laughs. He chucks his sword at Naruto and launches at Tenten. His sword buries into the ground as Naruto appears beside Tenten, who's been holding on to his father's kunai. Zabuza's eyes widen as both genin thrust at him with their weapons. And thus ends the first part of their first mission. What fun! Yeah, I'm bringing some characters back. I think in canon it's established that Might Guy's dad killed like half of the Seven Swordsmen in one fell swoop in exchange for his own life. And I don't want to invalidate that sacrifice, but while it's suggested that the Seven Swordsmen continue in a new generation, there's little to no mention of its members in Naruto canon. Some, but not much. Like I said, Might Guy's dad accomplished something amazing, but that also gets rid of a lot of fun that could be had with the Seven Swordsmen. Next time we'll be concluding this fiasco and hopefully everyone will get out of this one okay. There's still so much to do with the other teams as well, I'm in no rush to hurry things along. Like I said last video, I'm trying to keep fights mostly to the imagination, but I've been visualizing Zabuza's blade use like that of Darth Maul. Though he wields this gigantic sword, he's still meant to be an agile ninja, and I want to incorporate that flexibility in with what he can do. But enough out of me, I need to get work on the next episode, and as always, the sky's the limit.